Hello everyone, Obscure Skeleton here, and I am going to be taking a look at the Transmetal 2 Megatron. And first things first, we're going to take a look at this gorgeous box art. Look at that delicious looking design work there and artwork and blah 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 blah. Legacy Evolution is the point in this toy line he is from. If we turn it to the side, you got some of that nice Legacy Evolution box art with some of those weird dudes there and the lion guy and some you got like a space bridge there. And is that Tarn? I'm just kidding. I know that's from the giant spaceship thing. Really cool head design. I wish they actually stuck with that one rather than the other one they did. And on the back you can see this guy in both of his modes. 33 steps there, Blair, average terrible Hasbro promotional shots. Actually, this might not be some of the best. Well, this isn't the worst I've seen, to be honest. And a fire effect piece, which I have lost. Which is a shame, because I gotta tell you, his fire effect piece makes him look even more epic. But, that's just, I don't have it. The painting and sculpting on this guy is amazing. Really amazing work here from Hasbro and Takara. Just, so much rich detail. All of the designs that were based on the Beast Wars figures have just some of the best sculpting I've seen in the entire mainline Transformers line. If you ignore the stuff for the again, these wings fully stretched out can actually be kind of a, if you want to do it perfectly, it's a bit of a hassle. All right, just look at the detail on those wings. I don't know how well you can see this because I'm using this on a 10-year-old phone. But, blah, look at that. Very nice. Very nice. That's, we'll talk about that in a bit. Lots of great posability on the Dragon mode, of course. And, I will also point out, nice clean pack. Wouldn't really expect any kibble on this. There is literally no kibble on this whatsoever, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you can kind of see the head and his ass right there, but that's about it. Posability wise, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 ball joints along the neck. This bit at the end here is a hinge joint. You got a rotation here, and of course, allows for some great posability options. His mouth can open and close, but not as much as I would like. And I will say, I don't have the effect part. I'm sure it's somewhere around, but I've been looking for a while. I can't find it. You can, for some reason, the effect piece goes in at a really weird angle, so even when he's facing forwards, the fire is going down. Now, if you do, I will let you know, if you do kind of wedge it in there, it's a fairly good fit. It's not too tight, so you don't need to worry about things getting broken. But you can just wedge the fire effect piece in between the bottom of the peg hole and the top of his inner mouth. And it does make it point in more of a forwards direction, so that is a lot better. Alright, I'm going to stop strangling this guy. I gotta say, I do love how they assembled the neck using 2 separate pieces, giving you some really nice bits of gold along here. They could have made it, one whole piece that was painted, but, having it be separate pieces makes it a lot more, means we don't have to worry about paint chipping, though I wouldn't really worry about that. All the paint on here is nice and durable, but just, I love how that looks. It's a little gappy here, but who cares? Look at that dragon chest. He's got some nice dragon abs and 2 sets of pecs for some reason. Well, he's only got 1 extra pec there. The other one's covered up with this lovely looking clear plastic thing. I don't know, what is it, a button, an eyeball? Now, the sculpt does kind of break here because it goes instantly from this kind of texture to that. They could have probably fit in like one more panel here to just kind of make the change from here to there a bit more clear, but a bit smoother. But, it's fine. Same sort of sculpting on the tail that I really liked on the neck. And you've got a good bit of posability here. You've got a hinge joint there. Ball joints all the way along this tail. And on the legs, you've got some nice rotation. And you've got some very nice. And you got some movement there, some movement there, No rotation at the feet, but you do have a okay pivot. And there you go. So personally, I think this guy's got a lot of great stuff to work with in terms of his posability. You can get this guy in some really dynamic looking poses. I mean, I'm gonna put up a photo shoot here real quick. I probably should tell you some of my criticisms of this figure so far. First of all, I am not a huge fan of how the neck, once this point ends, the neck posability isn't great. You can't move this at all, and just when you do that, that just doesn't look good at all. But also, this peg I hate it. Posing this guy can be really frustrating sometimes because you're trying to get him into a nice pose, you know. You're working on it, you're trying to make it look good and all that, and then suddenly you just don't know. You know, it's far from the worst thing in the world, but it's just, especially when this side it pegs in so nicely, like, gosh dang. I imagine maybe if I went in with some super glue or something, but who do I look like? Joby the Hong? I'm putting in all that effort. As for the transformation, I think it's time we got right into that. Start here. Arm peg the sides of the butt or something, I don't know. And then arm peg the chest from here and bring this entire section down. Fixed it! Alright, so move this entire section up like that, and would have been nice if this was a little bit less loose. Anyways, and now you're going to want to come to the legs and straighten those bad boys nicely. There you go. Same thing on the other side. Yeah, just... Ooh. And then, of course, you want to bring his crotch together like so. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Ooh. Those pegs are tight. Oh, alright. Next up, we want to unpeg the front by, if you come to the side here, you'll notice that we've got this entire section needs to separate from this part here. You'll see there's a peg hole there and there is a peg on the inside. Do that on the other side as well, and now you can bring that entire section down. Rotate this all the way around. Fold out this little panel thingy here. Fold that, put that back, and stretch out his arms. Click that down. I wish that ratchet had a bit more snap to it. And you're gonna want to push these bits in like so, and then let him grab nice and tightly onto his chest. There you go. Now, the next part is fairly simple. Move this entire section here up and over, and bam, 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 bam. And you also, yep, in case you didn't see that, this does shift forwards like that. Alright, there we go. Now you got all that in, you just want to peg that into there. Alright, now, alright, so yeah, you want to peg that, this peg into that hole there. No, peg that into there. Peg it into there. Not super happy about that. That was upsetting the first time I ever transformed this guy. So yeah, unfortunately, you cannot have the head down nice and flush and peg that in at the same time. Fortunately, though, this whole thing isn't like super loose and floppy. You know, it will stay down, especially when you've got the tail covering it. Oh. I'm groaning and grinding my teeth like I don't like this thing. And trust me, I do like this thing. Alright, let me just reposition everything. Alright, so, yeah. mode! Okay, so this does look really awesome. The sculpting from the vehicle, from the dinosaur mode does carry over lots, particularly in the legs and the dragon head, arm thing. And of course, you can close it. I did not mention the posability of the wings in the not the vehicle mode, the dragon mode. We'll get to that when I get to this wings posability. But yeah, looks great. I do love the way that the hands actually like carry over into this mode. It's a really nice look, and it also makes me wonder what the hell the dragon's hands are doing there in the dragon mode. I almost said dinosaur. Alright, so this guy does look great. I do love it. It's got a decent amount of weight to it though, nothing too extreme. There's a lot of plastic here. Let's just do a nice little notation. Don't worry, I'll be getting a lot more stuff to make this whole process work a lot better soon in the near future. I'll get a nice rotating table thing. I'll sort out a whole setup here and pay full subscriptions for editing services. Just trying to straighten this guy out. The robot mode is amazing. I do love it a lot, but it's definitely not my favorite mode. You're never going to see this guy on my shelf in the robot mode because just the dragon mode is just so much better. Now, when you do spread out the wings, you will notice that this guy, he's pretty dang big. Let me just... Oh, just up. Okay, yeah, that's... Yeah. He's got some insane amounts of presence. Now, one thing I'm not a huge fan of is the head here. I believe this is trying to look more like the original toy of this figure rather than what he looked like in the show. So it's just kind of a shame that I would have liked it if they went with a more, show accurate look. Though I am just noticing he's got like divots along his nose. This camera's quality is a lot better than I give it credit for. Oh, what's going on there? Has he got a chipped tooth? Fuck? Is that bad painting or something? Oh, that sucks. Now, of course, the sculpting on the dragon head is just as amazing as it was in the robot mode, and I do really feel like this could have benefited from some slightly better posability, because now you just got an arm that can't really work as an arm very well, which is a shame. Would have been nice to see them carry over one of the gimmicks that you see a lot in the third-party Transmetal 2 Megatrons, is that the ability to turn this more into a fusion kind of look and give him an actual proper arm underneath. But if they had done that, the neck probably wouldn't have been nearly as posable. So maybe they went with the best decision. As for the kibble, well, I've already talked about it a bit. It doesn't actually snap in without ruining the rest of the... Just get back in there. Which is a massive shame, but, it's far from the end of the world. Underneath that, it's fine. Tail, still posable. Might as well go for the posability now. I'm not the biggest fan of how loose... Actually, first, I will talk about some of the problems this mode has. That happened too easily, didn't it? That's because down here at the feet, these joints just aren't very great. They're fine at that point, and they're fine, like, when you start to get to here, it becomes a lot tighter. You see it's got a lot more thunk, but here it is just too loose. There's a ratchet joint in there, and it could have benefited from a bit of tightening up. And also, unfortunately, these bits don't actually peg that well in together, because, of course, it didn't peg very well when it was being the side of the dragon's butt. So, oh, why am I being so PG? His ass! His ass! Anyways, it's just annoying. It's just another reason for me to not really want to keep this guy in robot mode. The posability, despite there being more points of posability in this mode, it feels less dynamic than the dragon mode. Let's get into it. So, you got a rotation at the head, but that is of course limited massively by his ponytail. So, but you do still have, the posability that you had in the dragon mode carries over, but you're just going to want to leave that down like that. Rotation at the arm and ball joints all the way along. Mouth can still open, of course. Why wouldn't it? And of course, we've got some new posability here. We've got outwards movement. We've got some up and stuff. Nice clicky ratchet there. Well, less clicky, more thunky. Rotation here. Double bend at the elbow. And no wrist rotation. Ain't that a bitch? You do get an inwards movement, but that's just looks like his hand got cut off and it's hanging by the end of the skin. So yeah, that is pretty fucking unexcusable. You know, there needs... A figure of this size should not have one of those. But, you know, it isn't the end of the world, I guess. You got a nice clicky swivel at the waist. Very nice. That's clickety clack. Rotation here. Bend. Forwards. And you wouldn't really use this, but that can still do that. Well, that is, of course, more for the transformation. So, like I said, the posability on the Robo mode is nowhere near as good as it is in the Dragon mode. Again, which is weird, because there's less points of posability. It's just with the loose feet and the gaping hole he has in his crotch. Ugh. It's just a lot less. It's nowhere near as much of a fun time to get this guy into a dynamic pose, even if you can figure one out, than it is in the Dragon mode. So let's get this guy back into the mode I actually like. And there we go. That's a lot better. Now I am just realizing that I still haven't talked about the posability of the wing, so let me just quickly do that. Zoom in and out. There you go. Also, these things could do this for some reason. So overall, I really do love this thing a lot. It is definitely one of the... Let me just... There we go. Definitely one of my favorite Transformers in my collection. Transformers. What's wrong with me? Alright. Yeah, I would definitely give this guy a solid 8 out of 10. But that is because of bias that doesn't exist, actually. I don't really have any prior deep connection to this design or Beast Wars in any way. But I still love it. I do highly recommend this figure if you can get it for a good price, like I did. I managed to get this thing for about £30, I believe. It was on offer on Amazon. And yeah. I hope you enjoyed the video. And feel free to like and subscribe if you want. You know, it's up to you. You don't have to, but, you know, it would be appreciated. Go ahead, do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.